What's up? Yo! Wait. Yo! Wait. Yo guys, welcome back to a brand new video. My name is Kian. And in today's video, I'm going to do something interesting. As you might know, and if you've seen more on my channel, you might understand now that I like to do experiments in the simulator to try some things and see with a YouTube video how it goes. And today we're gonna look how much slower are slick tires in the rain. And now I'm talking about Formula 1. In today's video, I'll be driving 3 laps on Sao Paulo in R Factor 2, because in my opinion, the rain in R Factor 2 is just great. I'm gonna drive 3 laps in the slicks, and I'm gonna drive 3 laps in the wets, and I'm gonna compare them, and we're gonna see what is actually the difference, and if it's actually needed to have profile these days. I'm gonna compare 3 things, and that is the lap times, so we have 3 laps on each tires. I'm gonna compare the braking points, so do we have to brake later or earlier? Can we brake at the same point or not? I'm gonna just, I'm just gonna explain and analyze the feeling of the car. So I'll tell my experience at the end of the video. Please sit back and relax, and I'm going to try this out. Let's go. Here I am in R Factor, and in my opinion, the F1 2020 mod is just the best mod for Formula 1 in R Factor. I'm going to Sao Paulo. Also because this is just a really good track for wets. And I'm going to session. I'm going to turn off all these things. I'm going to turn off AI because I want the track for myself. And I will be driving on... And I'll be driving on a wet track. So I'll give myself a lot of practice time. Because why not? And I'll say, let's go with rain. Alright, so I'm going to set up and I'm going to select the intermediate tires. I'm not gonna say wet tires. Intermediate already has profile, and I think that's just the best option. I also want to change my brake bias to 54. All right, so I have 3 laps, and I'm gonna start with a benchmark on the wet tires, and I'm gonna see what's gonna be the big difference. All right. Let me see. We're gonna drive out of the pit lane. He's telling me to go. And I'm really curious to the difference. 100 kilometers per hour speed limit. We have 3 laps. I don't expect me to be fast on the first lap. Expect me to be faster on the second lap. And expect me to take risks on the last lap. Let's see what even are the braking points here. I'm gonna try my best, but don't judge me if I'm not really on the perfect way. Let's go. R Factor 2. Alright, coming up for the first lap on main straight. As you can see, high top speed, going a bit to the middle of the track to not hit any water puddles. Being pretty careful on the first lap, and actually a pretty good apex right here. Going very fast through turn 1 and coming up for the second straight. I was not using DRS, even though I could. I was not using it to make it fair. Coming up here, braking on a good way, good trail braking, and as you can see, staying in 4th gear. And taking a raining line right here. High speed corner, so you want to be careful in the wets, but it was fine. And then braking in a straight line, trail braking. And this was a good corner. Same for this one, using the weight transfer to throw it into this corner, which is very nice. And then braking in a straight line here again. Just straight while braking, losing the car here a bit. It was pretty rainy. It was pretty wet. And coming up for the final corner. Reminder, this is only the first lap on Sao Paulo of the day. Not driven this track before today. And coming up for the main straight. The first lap is going to be a solid 118 point. I believe it's a 118.3. We will find out in a few seconds. Coming up for the line. Driving a 118.2 actually. And then the second lap was a 118.3, what I said. This was the second lap. Coming up for lap 3, let's just jump straight to sector 2. This is the fast corner again. Look at that, losing a lot of control. But still keeping it, of course, on track and keeping it in my control. Coming up here for the corners, braking in almost a straight line. Losing the car a bit here, but keeping it under control. Look at that. Very high-speed corner, but we had to lift off a lot. And the last lap was the fastest one. We actually gained 2 tenths here, so we ended up driving a 118.0. Oh! Oh, okay, a 1:18.0. I don't think it's the quickest, but I tried to look for the limit. And I don't think I've really failed in these few laps. So, alright. My car is losing it. Let's go back to the pits. Alright, I want to go to my setup. And I'm actually going to put on these soft tires. Absolute slicks. And we're going to see if they are slower, faster, or as fast. We're going to see. Alright, here we are on the slicks. And as you can see, the track is much wetter. The track is a lot wetter than before. It has been raining a lot more, of course. So it was a really big, difficult challenge. As you can see, you're going pretty solid through turn 1. But I believe on turn 3 here, I started to look for the limit. And the throttle application was a bit more careful. ERS is disabled now, so it's actually way too wet. Look at this moment. Oh, a lot of oversteer near the spin. No! I spun around. Oh my god, it's so typical. I spun around. Oh man. I was so well under control. Okay, let's go again. And in this clip, a very important call happened. As you can see here, I was looking at it and I lost focus. Okay, little change of plan. I have already done 2 laps. But as you might expect, I wasn't able to keep it on track. I am going to try 1 lap. I'm going to try 1 lap valid. I'm sure it's not going to be as quick as I've done. Because, yeah, this is just very slippery. Track is also very wet. So let me just try to drive 1 valid lap and we're going to see what the difference is. Let's go. Let's try it. Alright. I was trying it through turn 1. Look at that raining braking line. That's a really good line. And here avoiding the curbstone. This was not a bad turn 1, but I believe on turn 3 I started to lose a bit of control. It's really looking up for the limit on throttle. Coming up for this fast corner. Bit of a failure. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, bit of a sad end into the video, but it's absolutely not possible with how wet the track right now is. I'm convinced that if I'm really careful, I could do it. But in Formula 1 cars, it's too wet. Let's compare it. So the 3 points that I wanted to talk about is lap times. Well, I'm sure that these softs are not going to be quicker than a 140, maybe a 150. With the wets I did a 118, which is only 10 seconds slower than the world record, I believe. So that's not too bad. The feeling of the car, well, the car just only slides when it's wet. And it only drifts and stuff like that. So that's a bit weird. And the braking points, actually the braking points were the same as the wet. So that is something very interesting. The braking points were not different to the wets. So I actually could brake at the same point, but I just had to trail brake earlier because otherwise I'd locked up, or my brake pressure was lower in general. So yeah, my tip to you is don't drive with slicks on a wet track. Thank you.